In the face of protected health information threats and thefts, the UCLA health system breach, and the Hollywood Presbyterian ransomware attack, for example, and with a new generation that grew up in a digital world coming of age, John Halamka, CIO at Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center in Boston, who also owns a farm, proposes that widespread public release of health information is a way to stay ahead of the inevitable and maintain some control. In fact, Halamka has made his own medical records public. Ultimately, Halamka predicts that the way we think of PHI will eventually be akin to how we think of credit cards.
And that is to say, yes, in the 1970s, your credit card was still, oh my God, they're draining my life savings. Today, your credit card is still, whatever. Call up the credit card company, somebody's charged $20,000 of Mont Blanc pens, fine, nothing. Get a new credit card, but no harm to you.
Halamka added that there are now laws prohibiting discrimination based on someone's PHI, which he predicts will help in diminishing the seriousness of PHI theft.
Is that today we have GINA, the Genomic Non-Discrimination Act, actually prevents insurers or employers from discriminating against you based on your genomic data. We have ACA, we have high-tech, we have HIPAA omnibus rule. We've got all these things that have started to, in effect, issue more legal protections against discrimination based on PHI. So that is, if I tell you I have glaucoma and I can't, because of these various regulations and legislation, be discriminated against for anything, then what difference does it make? So yeah, it's going to take time. And it's cultural change. Generations feel differently about this. But if the discrimination doesn't happen anymore, and people are pretty open about sharing the details of their personal lives, then I expect that spills of PHI will still happen, but no one will care.
Again, echoing today's credit card realities, Halamka predicts that in the future, providers and insurance companies will freely provide PHI theft protection. Blue Cross has already bought their members perpetual identity theft protection and offers it for free. Not only that, but Halamka makes the point that many young adults who grew up in a digital world are less hesitant to share their data publicly. But many are concerned when it comes to wearables, the sharing of protected health information, and HIPAA. Halamka, however, has a simple solution that he believes will quell those concerns.
So our answer is very simple: defer to the patient. I turn on and off what data I want transmitted to my doctor. Mm-hmm. And you can see everything for me is on, I don't care. Mm-hmm. But somebody may say, ooh, my weight? I really don't want my weight going to my doctor's office. Or, it is, if the patient, in effect, has proactive opt-in control of every data element and what happens to it, there's no HIPAA issue. There is just a whole lot of misunderstanding of what HIPAA actually says, who is covered by it. And so you get around any misunderstanding by just asking the patient, what do you want? Mm-hmm. I'll respect your preference, because then there's no question.
In fact, Massachusetts already has a state law that requires opt-in consent for the sharing of patient data. However, this does not eliminate the threat of hackers stealing health data.
Give up on privacy. And that is, of course, I respect everyone's right to privacy and everyone's preferences, but my genome is public, my medical record is public, my heart rate is public, and it has been for a decade. Have I been harmed in any way? I have glaucoma, I've had Lyme disease 3 times, I'm allergic to penicillin. Does that diminish my, say, stature in the community? Did it impact my employment or insurance or ability to get a loan? No. And so, my view is, so if you just decide your healthcare data doesn't matter, just share it with all the doctors and people who need it. Then the hackers can hack it. Whatever, it's already open source.
Halamka recognizes that this is an extreme and perhaps ridiculous statement for him to make because he is a healthy 53-year-old person. For someone with a mental illness or a sexually transmitted disease, however, the decision to publicly release and share health information is an entirely different story.
And at least as a doctor and as a person who's openly shared my data, I've seen nothing but reward for data sharing and nothing but risk for holding it back.
Opting out.
It's all the patient's choice. Yeah. And I would advocate for most people, sharing everything for every purpose with everyone is appropriate and low risk.